Hello folks, it is that time of year once again. Halloween season is upon us, and I have a top 5 list for you, this one being the top 5 pumpkin pie flavored hookah tobaccos. This is in no particular order, these are just my favorite choices for pumpkin pie flavors, and I think that they'll treat you really well. Now let's be clear, they're all a little different, and I think that each one is going to appeal to a slightly different crowd of smokers. So we've got a lot of different brands represented here, and I just guarantee that one of these, if you like pumpkin pie, one of these is definitely going to be your favorite. So let's go. We start with Haze. The unfortunately named Pumpkin Pleasure is their offering to the pumpkin pie fight, and I find that this one's a little unique because it is predominantly a cream flavor with spice kind of lending a back note, lending support to the cream. It's not dissimilar from Tangier's horchata or even like Fumari's spiced chai. It is very much cream up front with then some spices coming in the back end. I'd say that the blend is even parts cinnamon and nutmeg in regards to those spice flavors, and I really enjoy it. I think it is it's a very good pumpkin pie flavor, minus the fact that there is really no pumpkin to speak of. But what are you gonna do? Next up is Hookah. It is their decadent pumpkin pie flavor, and I think that the Hookah brand in general is entirely underrated. I absolutely love a lot of their tobaccos, but the only issue that they tend to have is their flavors can be a little weak and the longevity of them isn't the best. And sadly that follows through in this tobacco because Gourmet Pumpkin Pie is probably my favorite of all of the pumpkin pie tobaccos. It is surprisingly complex. The spices are very clean, but they're also supported by kind of a bready nuttiness in the background that strikes me as a bit of an almost like pie crust flavor. It's really good. I think that of all of the flavors on this list, it has the most elements that represent pumpkin pie. It has a bit of an actual pumpkin flavor, which is pretty cool. It has a really nice spice blend. It has the crust, and it also has a bit of creaminess, which comes across kind of as a whipped cream flavor. It's really good. If only it were a little stronger and lasted a little longer, this would be an absolute easy #1 pick, and I still think it might be my favorite. Next up is the one that we all knew was going to be on this list because it's probably the most smoked pumpkin pie flavor on the market, Starbuzz Pumpkin Pie. This is the first pumpkin pie flavor I ever smoked, and it's still pretty good, I gotta say. It was one of Starbuzz's first forays into doing more savory flavors, and it worked out really well for them. The spice notes they're all very mellow and non-distinct. I know that sounds kind of odd and sounds like a really bad thing, but honestly, if you're not looking for super deep complexity, this one is just a nice, across-the-board mellow smoke with a distinct sweetness and a little bit of creaminess. Not too much. It's really good. It actually kind of leaves, this is going to sound bad, it kind of leaves a little bit of a lingering mouthfeel in the same way that eating real whipped cream does, and it's really good. I find this to be a good, solid, very approachable pumpkin pie tobacco. Where many people can be put off by the spicier flavors, this one is very approachable. It's good stuff. Next up, we have Fantasia Pumpkin Spice, which is not dissimilar from the Starbuzz offering. I find the two to be pretty close to each other, but this one, it has less of a pumpkin note. It has more of a just straight across the board spice flavor, which is understandable considering the fact that it describes itself as pumpkin spice and not pumpkin pie. All of the spice flavors are very well rounded. They're very soft. They're very muted almost. It's almost sickeningly sweet smelling in the bag, but once you actually get it in the bowl and it gets smoking, that mellows out quite a bit, and it becomes a really enjoyable smoke that I think is actually worth picking up, even though it's kind of expensive for my tastes. Yeah. And last on the list is a relatively new contender in the fight. This is Social Smoked Pumpkin Pie. I find this to be mostly cinnamon up front with some other spices in the background. It's surprisingly complex, but it is cinnamon first. There's definitely some nutmeg. There are some mild, almost ginger-like notes, which is really nice. I really, really think this is one of the best pumpkin pie flavors on the market. It's not really... It doesn't really taste like pumpkin at all, which is understandable. So don't expect any notes of, gourd, but that's what you're going to get from most of these pumpkin pie flavors. They're mostly spice blends, and this one is definitely a spice up front with cream supporting, and it's a really nice flavor. If you like spice flavors, if you like pumpkin pie, you should definitely check this one out. So that's it. This is my list of top 5 pumpkin pie hookah tobacco flavors. And yeah, I think you should check all those out because 'tis the season, so to speak. And yeah, I think that these will keep you smoking all month long, straight through Halloween, and then we get into November with Thanksgiving. At which point, I'll give you another list of the best flavors. So that's it. This is Paul for Hookah.org saying thank you very much for joining us, and happy smoking.